So last year we did 2.1 million. This year we're hopefully on track for 5 to 6 million. That's the goal. So we're constantly doubling up, if not 3xing. I think the year before 2.1 was like 800 or 900. And the year before that, it was like 400.
Startups with Stu is a podcast for anyone living or wanting to live the startup life, either as a founder or a team member. Your host, Stuart Draper, was a 9-time Inc. 5000 honoree before age 40. This show dives deep into the exhilarating world of entrepreneurship with guests that are seeking advice from Stu for their startup or business owners that want to share their entrepreneurial journey. Listeners always walk away with actionable ideas of what to do to take their startup to the moon. Startup life can feel like a roller coaster ride. And with Startups with Stu, you're likely to turn your roller coaster ride into a rocket ship ride. Get ready to uncover the secrets to startup success from visionary founders and savvy investors who've transformed groundbreaking ideas into thriving ventures.
One of the reasons I do my show is because I want to help founders and people that like to invest in founders. I'm trying to create a community that is the ideal community for what I needed 10, 15 years ago. As a young founder, it is hard to find the right mentors and money. And so what I've put together with Startups with Stu is a lot of great content that will help you. And for free, you can always come and listen to the Startups with Stu podcast. I hope you know that. I want to invite those that are listening, whether you be an angel investor, a VC, a private equity guy, whether you are a founder that's bootstrapping or a founder that's raising money, or a founder or a small business owner that's already kind of like figured some things out, but it's kind of stuck in a rut. I want to invite you to my Startups with Stu retreats. These are paid events. You have to apply to attend. Not everyone gets in, but they are a blast. First and foremost, we have fun. And second, they are game changer for your business. They are worth the investment to attend. Go to startupswithstu.com/retreats, or just go to startupswithstu.com and find the retreats tab and learn more. Apply and see if we can get you into the next retreat. We have one coming up August 20th through the 22nd, and another one coming up September 8th through the 10th. So if you're into the outdoors, especially this is for you. We're in Island Park, Idaho. It's right by Yellowstone National Park. You spend some extra days, go to Jackson, take a break from the day-to-day grind. In the book Walk Away Wealthy, Mark Tepper says that every founder should be taking 2 weeks off, stepping away from the business so they can see where they need to go work on the business so that they don't have to be in it all the time. Come and attend. Look forward to seeing you there. So if you haven't yet, go to startupswithstu.com, find the retreats tab, go learn more, and apply. You got 2 opportunities. Come and join us. Welcome back to another episode of Startups with Stu. This is a balding episode. For those unaware, I have been growing out my side hair. I am going to try a toupee. I've joked 2025 is the year of the Stupay. So if you are watching this, I apologize for the cringy level of thinning hair. I've always shaved it over the last few years, growing it out to try a toupee. I'm doing that in part for the fun of it, and to just see, who knows, maybe I'll like it and want to keep it. Maybe my wife will be like, whoa, she can't keep her hands off me now. I don't know, but she's also supportive of me doing it because I'm doing it to raise awareness for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I am I'm on the board for Make-A-Wish Idaho, and I hope that you'll join me. If you'll follow me on Instagram, follow me on LinkedIn, I'll be talking more about Make-A-Wish. And there will be opportunities to donate with me when I participate. And I'd love to have you involved, folks. So thank you for tuning again to another episode of Startups with Stu. We're not here to talk about me. Today, we are here to talk about Natalia Graf-Anders, the founder and CEO of Sync Equestrian and the founder of herself. In that, she's created an amazing personal brand. We'll talk about that a little bit today. Natalia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Get fired up.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you're here. Like I said, I've been running a show series with female founders, and you are crushing it as a female founder. And we want to inspire other females that want to start a business to know they can do it, right?
Absolutely.
So how did you fall into entrepreneurship? I know from a young age you were exposed to it. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Germany, and I moved here at 12 years old with my family. We won a green card in the lottery, and then all of a sudden my dad was like, okay, I guess we're going to try it out. So I've always grown up with like risk taker parents. My dad, my mom, both entrepreneurs, who just kind of always went for it in life. So at a very young age, I was exposed to just going for it and not second guessing myself. I think moving to the United States at such a young age also helped me not be scared of things. I mean, I moved here and I didn't speak a word of English at a very, I guess, fragile age. You have to meet new friends and you're in 7th grade, and it's really scary. But even at that age, it just taught me to not fear change and to not fear discomfort, which I think is so important as an entrepreneur. It is such a roller coaster. Like, you've got to be so comfortable with the unknown. So your nervous system is like not going off the roof anytime something changes out of your routine. You've got to be able to really have your insides, as I like to say, under control so you don't let outside circumstances affect you. And then when we moved here to the United States, my dad had to, again, start from scratch. And he started from scratch so many times in life because my parents also left Iran in 1978 during the revolution. And they went to first Italy. They went to college in Italy and then finished college in Germany. So then starting a new life, again, in a brand new country for my parents. One, they had to learn Italian, and then they had to learn German and start businesses and really, build a life for us. And then all of a sudden, we had a pretty nice life in Germany. It was time to come to the United States, and that was from scratch as well. My dad went into a completely different business than what he did in Germany. So for him, big learning curve. My mom was taking classes to learn how to speak English and then got her realtor license. And, she turned out to be a very successful realtor, which I think is an entrepreneur in itself as well, right? You're setting your own hours. And I just saw my parents grind and create this life. So for me, I think growing up seeing that, it was always very difficult to work for a company. I tried that path. So I have a very interesting background as well. I lived in New York City for 12 years, and I, was a professional model there for a couple of years, which was fun and glamorous and super free spirited. I had like the red carpet rolled out, all these cool things that you look at from the outside and it looks amazing. But deep down, I was super depressed. Modeling was very toxic. I had eating disorders, all sorts of stuff. So then all of a sudden one day I was like, oh, I need to have more structure in my life. Let me try the corporate route. So I left New York City after 12 years. I moved back to the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area, which is where my parents are. And this is where I went to high school. And I got into the corporate life. And I did business to business sales for a Fortune 500 company. I crushed it because I'm naturally a competitive person. I love sales, and it was fun for a while, but I was also majorly depressed. So I went from being a model to then spending half of the day cold calling clients, C-level execs, and getting 8 meetings a week with them. So you went from depending on how you looked to just now having my voice to rely on, which was one of the most amazing experiences. So as much as I want to knock the job that I had, it taught me so much to help me with the business I built. So I did that for almost 2 years. I was majorly depressed. And, I was taking Adderall just to get out of bed to do this job that I absolutely hated. And little by little, I felt like my soul was eating away at me. I got into meditation, and once I got into that, my whole life just kind of changed. And I woke up one day and told myself, I have to quit this job. I, had a really nice penthouse apartment with an ex-boyfriend at the time. I broke up with him. I had a car, a really nice car, with the corporate job, that 6-figure cushy salary and all that shit, gone. Got rid of my car, showed up at my dad's house and was like, hey, I need to get off this Adderall. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. All I know is I'm extremely unhappy and I cannot go on like this. I've tried to go every single route in life and nothing has truly made me happy. So Then it was 1 year of coming off the Adderall, which was extremely difficult. You know, your brain has to learn how to pump dopamine on its own now. And if you've been on Adderall for a few years, it's really, really hard. So I underwent major depression to the point where I would just kind of stare at the ceiling every day and not even care if I woke up the next day. Not that I would do anything, but I was just, the best way to put it was like lifeless. So then as I was there, and again, I'm grateful that I had like my dad's house to sleep at, you know, again, no job, no money, nothing. I started to rebuild myself, and I thought about, okay, what has always given me energy in life? What is like that one thing I've loved since I was a child that always made me feel like I was at home? And for me, that thing is horses. They are my life battery, essentially. So I found a place to go volunteer at to help out with bringing in ex-race horses and finding them new homes and things like that. And the day I got there, ironically, is the day that the horse that I now own got there as well. And he is the sole reason my life completely changed. I owe every single thing I've built to my horse. And he gets off this, you know, trailer, and I keep referring to him as she. And it was like a slow motion moment. Like I have goosebumps just talking about it, where I saw him and he's like my mirror. It's like I saw myself in this horse. And I just kept saying, like, wow, she's so powerful. Wow, she's so fierce. Like all of these verbs, just like an adjectives, just kept coming out describing this horse, where I was essentially seeing myself. Fast forward, you know, of course, this horse injures himself. Usually she sells them pretty quick at the place I was volunteering at. Of course, he injures himself. And then a couple months later, she asked me if I want to buy him. And I was like, with what money? Like, I don't even have a roof. I don't know if I'm moving back to New York, if I'm going to LA, if I'm staying here. I have no idea where life is taking me right now. So I don't know how this can fit in. Long story short, I ended up buying him, and she let me work off like his monthly payments and things like that. And little by little, this horse taught me confidence. He taught me how to go for it. He helped me see in myself what I forgot when I went the corporate route. Because even though the modeling life was very toxic, I was still very free-spirited, which is who I am in nature. And he let me see myself for who I am within my soul. And little by little, I started what's now, you know, multi-7-figure brand equestrian line, because I saw a big problem in the market in equestrian clothing. But before I got to the equestrian clothing, I had a failed business. I tried to start a digital marketing agency. I was very good at sales, so I got the clients. But then once I got the clients, I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. I was like trying to learn how to like do all the ads, and I was like, oh my God, this is like killing me. So I ended up outsourcing someone to do the ad piece for me. But when I started that business, I realized I still didn't want to have accounts per se. I wanted to find a way to create automated income. So as I'm sleeping, we have sales coming in. As I'm wherever spending time with my horse, we're making money. Just something that's automated. So then e-commerce was like on the jump, and a lot of people were getting into that. And I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube. I taught myself everything from YouTube. And then I started with 3 products in my apartment at the time. And now we've scaled to like 100 products, a warehouse, you know, I have employees in the warehouse and everything else. But it all started in my apartment. And it just took that initial step of saying, okay, let me try this. And I remember I was really scared at first. So I was like wasting so much time on stupid shit like, oh, look, this website needs to look perfect and this needs to look like this. And you know how you try to procrastinate because you're afraid? You're afraid of failure. So one day my dad was like, what is the worst thing that could happen to you? Well, I mean, you're at rock bottom right now. Like, what is the worst thing that can happen? Just start the freaking business and see where it takes you. And like when he said that, something in me clicked, and we launched 3 breeches, which like literally sold out in less than a couple months. And the business just took off. And I'm so grateful, but it took that initial step of let's just go for it. And you never know where it's going to take you. And if it fails, guess what? You learn from it and you take it to the next thing. Just like the digital marketing agency thing for me, it gave me a great overview of different venues to like advertise online. So I understood that piece, and I used that and I put it towards the e-commerce business. The modeling experience. Every other job I had helped me create this company because the modeling experience helped me be my own model. I was a photographer and model. Like when I first launched, I had a tripod with a professional camera and I was modeling my own clothes and no one had a freaking clue. The sales piece, the customer service, my second job, doing business to business sales really came in handy with that. I understood sales, I understood customer service, I understood how to structure out emails professionally, how to talk to people, how to sell and copy, right? All of these things really mattered. Without those jobs, even though they were traumatic, I wouldn't have been able to start this company. The trauma that I experienced as a model is also the tipping point of my company because my brand is all about empowerment. I never want another woman to feel the way I did growing up or even as a model to constantly feel like I have to starve myself, I have to look like this, I have to be like this to be accepted. So I made it my mission to really showcase every single body size, every age, like our models, some of our models are like 70 years old. I want to show every woman so women who are seeing our ads are not nitpicking at themselves and saying, oh my gosh, like, why don't I look like this? Or younger generations aren't growing up with what I grew up with, which was to like be a size 00 or you're not pretty enough, right? So I took the trauma and I also turned it into the change that I want to see in the world.
I love it, Natalia. There are so many lessons, you guys. So for you listeners, let me tell you some of the main takeaways I've gleaned so far. And then we're going to jump in. I want to screen share and show Natalia's brands online, give you guys a second to see how inspiring that is. And we'll have her tell the story of growth now with Sync Equestrian. But Natalia, your family life and moving multiple times, the growth that comes from going and making new friends in new countries. In the US, it's like you move once in a new city, and that's a traumatizing or difficult experience to go make new friends, right? You've done that not just with different languages, but different countries. Like that is a challenge. And you build and you grow so much strength from that will empower you and help you later. You saw your dad start from scratch and start over. And so when you had your career in modeling and then decided to start from scratch and have your career in corporate sales and then got on Adderall and decided, oh, I got to go home, back to mom and dad, start from scratch. I got to lean on family. I'm blessed to have family and I'm going to go lean on them. Like those are lessons, you guys, that I hope you're paying attention to when you hear Natalia's story, because it's really easy to think that you can do it on your own or you have to do it on your own. And sometimes what you need to do is go home to mom and dad, go to your brother or sister and get help. And you didn't like lean on them forever. You never expected it of them, but you knew they were there to help you and willing. And that blessed your life, right? Turning to horses and having a hobby outside of whether it was going to make you money gave you creativity and helped you get to a place where you can go, aha, this is what's next for me. And having the digital agency and starting from scratch there, and then that not working out or being what you wanted it to be, another opportunity to build and grow skills. And all of those skills combined, you've put it together. So let me screen share real quick, you guys. You have to see this. Natalia has been a genius with her social media marketing, some really cool brands. So, and some really cool content that people will engage with and share. Sync Equestrian's account, 60.7 thousand followers now. She's showing that you can be cute in your equestrian apparel. Something that previously I think a lot of women felt like, I don't feel cute when I wear my clothes for riding a horse, right? So that is amazing content. Obviously, being a model, Natalia herself is a model for the show, for Sync Equestrian. Not the only one, as you can see here with the other pictures, but she's built that brand. She's also built her own personal brand that you can follow. Natalia or Natasha has 156,000 followers. Go search up Sync Equestrian as well. Give her a follow there, and you can check out the type of content she's created to build her own personal brand. You can see here, Natalia, CEO, business bad A, and wife. She's used some AI and had some fun with that to build her Sync Equestrian brand up through her personal account. And you can go and find her personal account. You can find her sync-academy.com. She's got links to her website as well there through her personal brand. These types of pieces of content she's created are helping her grow, and it's growing. The brand is really taking off. So, let me screen share again here and re-say a couple things. I'm going to share this tab instead. So you can go follow Natalia or Natasha. That's her brand on social media for her personal brand. And you can see the type of content she's creating here. If you want to be inspired as a female founder, or as a male founder for that matter, she has created some outstanding content that will help you see a better future for yourself and what you can do to grow your business. So, Natalia, tell us, what has the revenue growth looked like so far for Sync Equestrian?
Yeah, so last year we did 2.1 million. This year we're hopefully on track for 5 to 6 million. That's the goal. So we're constantly doubling up, if not 3xing. I think the year before 2.1 it was like 800 or 900. And the year before that, it was like 400.
Fantastic. That is some crazy growth. You're talking more than doubling year over year and still being able to do that when you hit the 2 million mark. What would you say are some of the biggest keys to the success and the growth you're having?
Find a good team. I think it's really important that you know, in the beginning, when you start a company, you're wearing every single hat. Like I said, I was model, photographer, marketer, like every single thing was done by me, packager, you know. As you grow, learn what your strengths are and outsource the best. So I know what I'm good at. I know what I focus on makes money, and I focus on that. And I've outsourced all of the other things that are just not my thing to someone who can do it better than me. And I think that really helps with the growth, because now you've created a team. And it's really important for me personally that I meet with my team on a weekly basis, once or twice, so we're all on the same page, right? You want to make sure that the team really understands your branding. That is key as well, because if you're giving over certain roles, it still has to sound like your voice. So for me, it was important that they understand this is all about empowering women. Like the clothing piece, yes, that's a part of it. But the brand is all about empowerment. And can you also have that message when you're doing, you know, the work for us?
So I love that. And I do agree 100%. Building a team matters. Focusing on, like, when you start the business, you wear all the hats, right? You've got to be the digital marketer. You got to be the social media marketing manager. You got to be the inventory manager, the supply chain specialist, the sales rep. You're doing everything, but as fast as you can, you want to take those hats off, right? Mm-hmm. So what are the hats that you're like, I'm not giving up this hat. Like, this is my thing.
Yeah. I understand a lot about human psychology when it comes to advertising. I mean, that's something I've been obsessed with since I was like 6 years old. I remember I was 6 and I was watching advertising. And I was wondering, how are they saying all of these things that make me want to go get this product? And this was me at like a super young age. So I would just sit there and watch ads, and it was fascinating to me. I don't know why, but it just was. So I really love the advertising piece as far as like our messaging, how we're saying things, our values, how can we showcase our values, and the empowerment piece I also love. Like, how can I empower our audience? How can I empower our customers, you know? And then, of course, the designing piece. I still design our clothing. I have help. My operations manager, she's like my right hand, so she helps a lot with that too. But just understanding what's different, right? So I think the reason my brand is so successful is because it's very different, and we set the trends. We don't follow the trends. So for example, we are the first brand who like put down rhinestones on the breeches coming down the leg, right? It's a risk. Not very equestrian in a way. It was definitely risky, but it took off like crazy. And now I see other brands doing it. So now I'm thinking, okay, we've created this trend. Like, everybody's adding bling on their breeches now. What can we do next that's very different? So just thinking that way of what can we do next? How can we elevate? how can we create new designs is my strength. And then also content creation, like I know how to sell. And when it's me in particular in a video, it always does well. Because I just know I know objections. I know how like the brain works and what to hit with my videos to make whoever's watching that answer the question to their objection in their head as I'm going through it.
Okay. Taking a quick break from the episode. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to take a second and thank the great team at Pod Allies that helps me produce this podcast. Startups with Stu is not an easy undertaking. It takes a lot of work and team power to get this thing done. So the team I use for my podcast, podallies.com, go check them out. If you are considering a podcast, if you've thought you have a dream for a show and you want to go make it happen, go to podallies.com and book a strategy call today. I promise you won't regret it. Speaking of the show or shows, let's get back to Startups with Stu in this episode. Forgive my interruption, but if you're interested, go check out podallies.com. So how did you come up with the name Sync Equestrian?
So Sync was just the name that I knew I wanted for my company before I even had the company. It just came to me one day. So even when it was Sync for like the digital marketing, it was also Sync.
Oh, okay.
And then it just made so much sense to have it as a brand name because when you're riding a horse, you have to be aligned. So it just was like a no-brainer. I love that. I still love our name so much. And I love our logo.
Well, you gotta you need to be proud of it, want to live it, wear it, and it's like a part of. If you can't, as a founder, you guys be passionate and in love with your brand, good luck convincing others.
Exactly.
Folks, if you haven't yet, take a second, go to startupswithstu.com and learn about my upcoming retreats. I have Rudy Rudiger coming. I'm so excited. Rudy is the guy that, if you've ever heard of the movie Rudy, it's a football movie, a story of an underdog, and founders, frankly, more often than not, you will find yourself as the underdog. Cannot wait for you to get to hear from Rudy. If you go to startupswithstu.com/retreats, you can learn more about the upcoming events and go and apply. Folks, this is an investment in time and money that's worth it. You will not regret having spent time in Island Park, Idaho with me, yours truly, Stuart Draper, Rudy Rudiger, and other founders and investors that will be there. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Let's get you back to the show now. So you've mentioned like this thing about psychology. You've mentioned that you meditate, and you mentioned as well that like you understand your nervous system and things like that. Tell us more about like how you got into meditation, how meditation has helped you. Before the call, you were talking to me about like manifestation and some things like that. Mm-hmm. So talk to us a little bit about that. I think you're not alone as a founder that believes in the power of that. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So meditation is what changed my life in 2018 when I was going through that really hard time. Coming off the Adderall and stuff, I got into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. And if anyone wants to learn more, I highly recommend checking out Dr. Joe Dispenza and reading one of his books. My favorite book is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Essentially, that is also the book that changed my life because it explains meditation on a science level. So it explains what happens to our brain. It explains how the quantum field works. It explains how you can rewire your entire brain. So every day, this is so interesting. Every day, our body is conditioned to be addicted to certain emotions, right? So let's giving you guys an example. 9 a.m. every morning, you may be addicted to the emotion of anger. So you're looking for reasons to justify that addiction to anger. You may blame your spouse. You may blame your coworker, the weather, while you're driving, but you're finding reasons to justify your addiction to anger. 9 p.m. every night, you're addicted to sadness. You're finding ways to justify your addiction to sadness. You're looking at, really sad stuff on Instagram that just makes you want to cry. So when you understand that the body gets addicted to certain emotions, and your thoughts and your emotions actually energetically create your entire reality, what if you can change those addictions to feelings that you actually want to feel. So at 9 a.m. every morning, instead of being addicted to the emotion of anger, what if you change that to the emotion of joy, the emotion of gratitude, the emotion of opportunity? Because now when you really start becoming aware of this and you change your emotions and your thought patterns to match what you want, your entire reality will shift in a way that is just unimaginable. Meditation is a big part, because meditation for me, and this is probably a little bit advanced, but with Dr. Joe's stuff, you go into the field, because when you are in the field of blackness, you are in the absolute unknown. And when you focus on your heart center in this field per se, you are now bringing the highest vibration there is, which is love, into the unknown, and everything you couldn't even imagine is just like a magnet coming to you now. I don't chase anything. Everything I want comes to me. And sometimes, things happen, but when you truly, truly stay in that belief system and you continue to do the work, your life will change in ways that you can't, and I'm still doing it. There's still so many things I want to call in, so that's what I focus on now as an entrepreneur, is every morning, and sometimes even every evening, I'm doing my meditations and I'm calling things in that I now want. And the way my life has changed since I started this work is just absolutely insane. Just the wholeness you feel within when you realize that you are worthy and you are whole as you are right now. And it's not about the material things, and it's not about the way you look, and it's not about, always competing and going and trying to prove your worth. Everything you want comes to you. And I think for me as an entrepreneur, this was very hard to grasp at first, because proving your worth is what made me successful at first. Because I'm like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to show everybody. It fueled the fire. It really, and it still does sometimes. It's not, for me even, it's like this, right? So I know the worthiness piece, but sometimes I still have that thing where I want to prove myself. So it fuels the fire. But it's the days where I come back and I realize that I am already whole and worthy right now, that things just come seamlessly without me having to try so hard. Because when you're trying, you're putting so much resistance towards what you want that it actually repels it, right? It's think about when you break up with someone and you're like, oh my God, I have to have them back. I have to have them back. You just repel that person, right? It's the same thing with money. It's the same thing with your business. When you're so desperate and needy in a resistant way, you just repel everything you want away from you. It's more about leaning in and knowing and feeling that you are worthy, where it really just starts coming to you so easily. So my business to me has honestly been a great tool for my spiritual growth, because the more I get into this work, the more money I make, the more freedom I have, the more whole I feel. It just becomes a game at this point. And money, and this is something I have with my money course, I put that out because I thought for entrepreneurs, this was such a big missing piece. This is what took me to 7 figures, is working with the energy of money, because money is just energy and it is abundant in nature. The only thing that holds people back from the goals that they want is the limiting beliefs that they have towards money. And we all have them, because you grow up in a world where you hear money doesn't grow on trees, right? Parents probably said that. Their great parents were in the Great Depression. So it's all passed down. And you hear these limiting beliefs about money and you don't even know that they're on your mind. So when you're paying bills, you're like, oh my gosh, your nervous system completely tenses up. What are you doing now? You're creating resistance. You're telling money, hey, please don't come to me. You make my nervous system out of whack. When you learn to lean in and to change your nervous system from a parasympathetic state of flight and fear to a sympathetic state of relaxation with money, you become comfortable with it and more of it comes to you. And we all have a thermometer of how much money we're comfortable bringing in. I still do too. So right now, I'm doing this on a daily basis. So let's say you're comfortable with 200 grand a month, right? All of a sudden, and I learned this from my business, because I had some really big months and then I sabotaged myself because my nervous system was not ready for it. So let's say you bring in 200K, that's your baseline. 200K, you're comfortable with that. All of a sudden you hit 400K. Your nervous system you might be happy on the outside. You're like, yeah, we hit 400K. This is amazing. But deep down on a subconscious level, you are scared. You've hit 400K. This is more money than you thought. Your nervous system is out of whack. And now you're going to find ways to self-sabotage yourself to bring yourself back to that baseline of 200K, because that is what you're comfortable with. So how can you get your thermometer to expand so you're comfortable with that 400K, right? So that's what I talk about in my course, because we all have it. And for me, what's helped me continuously grow is to reset this, to make bigger numbers comfortable. Oh, 500K, nothing. That's a baseline every month, right? You have to train your nervous system. That's the baseline. You can say it all you want, but you really have to work with your nervous system. When I pay bills, sometimes when I have really big invoices for inventory, I'm like, oh shit. But like when bills come in, when I have to pay my employees, for example, I'm happy. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm happy because they're doing their job. They're doing a great job. This is going to help them buy whatever they want. When I go out, I tip really, really well. Why? Because money is abundant in nature, and I'm tipping well because that's going to make her day or his day, right? They deserve it. That is their, like, it's just abundance in nature. And the more you can grasp this concept and remove these limitations you have towards money, like, oh, there's not enough. Oh no, I have to save every single penny. Oh no, I can't spend. The more money will come to you. It is just an energetic flow. You spend money, you make money. You spend money, you make money. And I always tell myself, the more money I spend, the more money I make. And it's been true.
Yeah, especially as it relates to reinvesting in a business, that's the truth. I think for personal expenditures, if you haven't found success yet, there's a certain amount of a blessing from the nervous system keeping you in check until you get to a place where you can afford to let yourself think bigger. And that's the message I've always given founders, Natasha, is, and by the way, Natalia, she goes by both, right? But yeah. Natalia, that idea that, like, you mentioned it as, I love your explanation for it around letting your nervous system believe that you can do something. Resetting your nervous system is, I think, how you put it. I always tell myself, let yourself think about the next level, because then you can work to get there. And I think you're right. It's a limiting thing when you say, oh, like, we did $1 million this year, but 1.1 or 1.2 is what we can do next year. Cause that's like still 20%. It's a lot of extra work I got to put in. No. That's not how to think about it. Think about 2 million and then let yourself think about what it takes to get there. And when you do that, you can like basically relieve yourself from the pressure of and fear of what it will take to get there, and let yourself work on what it will actually take to get there, and to build the team of people that will help you get there, and to invest in the team and spend the money so you can go make more. I think you described something that for me is I've experienced differently. So in software sales, you don't have a lot of inventory, right? You do have to invest in software engineers to build, and that costs money upfront before you could get the sales. So it's similar in that regard, but I took investor money, and for me, that was like crazy motivating to go and find a way for them to get return. And for you personally, you've invested your own money in inventory, or the business's money in inventory. And at first it's like, oh crap, that's a big check. But it also then gives you this newfound drive and motivation to go get the sales, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to sell everything that's in the warehouse. So I buy big inventory. I want that big inventory gone before the new collection comes. Some pieces are staple pieces, so they stay like year round. But yeah, that's the goal. You get it and it sells. I love being sold out.
It's the best, right? What a great feeling. Yeah. And I think if you've built a solid community, they'll wait for it to be back in stock, right?
Oh, absolutely. Our customers know now. Like, we are like the aloe of equestrian. Like, shit comes, it sells out. Get your size. We open pre-orders. It goes crazy, And I love that. It's like this, like you said, a motivating piece. It's like a high you get. They also like, yeah. But yeah, I love what you said about also seeing yourself there. So that's like kind of like a big piece of manifestation too. Like, before I hit my first million, I already saw myself as that version of me. I already acted like that version of me. How does she show up? Who does she surround herself with? How does she speak? How does she start her mornings? And I do this now, even with like, okay, what is that $10 million, that 8-figure version of me? What is she like? How does she wake up? How does she start her day? What would she do in a situation like this? And that's how you become that version of you, because you have to embrace it and be it now for it to come. It's as simple as that. That is literally the law of attraction just explained in like
Well, I love that you described your business as something that has helped you grow spiritually. I'm a very religious and spiritual person myself, and I've found that uh, in starting a business, you create something, and you have to uh, help others catch the vision that you have, and build a loyalty to a brand, and work together for something, and lead in goodness, and have a mission that has good values. And I think if you study the Bible, you'll learn that so much of God's creation and then what happened with his children here on earth is very similar to what it's like to get something off the ground and going. And for any prophet you study in the Bible, like they had a work to do, and they had to lead to go make it happen, and believe and have a vision for what could become of their work that God put them on the earth to do. And so I love that you get to now keep going and growing with Sync Equestrian, knowing that you're doing what God put you on the earth to do, and to empower women and people that are into equestrian life, that they can go and become more of themselves, and then go into just business in general, and help people that don't believe as much of themselves with the message like you're giving today. And I hope I can help you spread the word and the goodness of what you believe and teach here with others. Cause I believe it wholeheartedly. I had a mentor that said, "Hey, Stu, you need to start thinking of yourself as a millionaire now." And I was like, that's cool. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I was not a millionaire yet. Maybe on paper, because I'd raised some seed money for the business, and the overall valuation of the business meant that on paper I was a millionaire, but I definitely didn't have even $100,000 to my name in the bank. And so I thought he didn't give me a lot of extra advice or opinion on that. He just said that, and it was kind of in passing. And I was like, man, what does he really mean by that? And I think what he was doing was teaching me the importance of letting myself believe more of what was possible. And that allowed me to go and work harder to get there. And so, yeah, this has been so fun talking through this stuff with you, Natalia.
Thank you. Great.
If people want to go check out Sync Equestrian, any deals you guys are offering right now, you mentioned email marketing as a part of what you guys are doing. Tell them, how do they get in touch? How do they follow along besides Instagram?
Yeah, so our website is Sync, SYNC, equestrian.com. You can buy everything there. On Instagram, it's at Sync Equestrian, TikTok, at Sync Equestrian. And my Instagram is Natalia or Natasha. I have everything linked on there as well. And yeah, we have, I think, our July 4th sale is coming up. That'll be our next big sale.
Okay, that's awesome. So if you have friends in the equestrian community, make sure they hear about Natalia. Okay, before we close, I feel like we got to get a few more big, secret, juicy tips that have worked really well for your growth. Mm-hmm. So, maybe it's within the psychology and the advertising, maybe it's within the content and the organic content or the paid content you're doing there. Maybe it's switching to Shopify, and Shopify helped you, assuming that's where you went. I don't know, but maybe it's the email marketing. Like, what are some of the tips and secrets that are helping you guys grow so fast?
Know your audience. Like, I think for me, the more I understand my customers, but I am my customer too, right? So know your audience and find a way to connect to them in a way that other brands aren't. And that's very specific too, to each individual. So for me, that piece is empowerment, but to the next person, it could be something else, because that's a very important part of me and my life and my journey. So that's something I want to bring to my customers so they feel good too, right? So I think it's finding what you can give your customers outside of products.
So you say know your audience, find out what you can give them outside of your products. I love that. What do you like once you know your audience, once you know you want to give them something, how do you then do it? Is it your email marketing that makes it actually happen? Is it your video content?
It's a combination of all of it.
It's a marriage of all of it. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest piece, and it's not so much business stuff too. It's more about following your intuition in business more than anything else. I think a lot of times people try to get very logical about business. Maybe me as a woman, I work very intuitively and not I mean, sometimes logically too, but more intuitively than anything else. So, yeah, follow your intuition on things and don't be afraid to. It's really scary when you first start a business to trust yourself. So, really work on trusting yourself. Know your power, know you're powerful, and trust that intuition, because that intuition that you're getting is what's going to set you apart from the competition. That's your inner knowing talking to you, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And when you really follow that, you're going to find success. It's when you don't follow your intuition that you run into roadblocks. That's when you're like, fuck, why is this happening in my business? Well, did you listen to that nudge that you had? Oh, fuck, why did I hire this person? Did you listen to that nudge when, they interviewed for you and you were like, I don't know, but I really need them, so let me just hire, like really listen to yourself. And if you get super aligned with yourself and you can hear those intuitive hits, no doubt your business is going to be successful.
Absolutely. I could not agree more with that. You have to listen and then learn from it. When you go, oh crap, I didn't listen, I should have. When you have those moments, the next time go do better with that, right? So Natalia Graf-Anders, she is a legend, someone you definitely want to go follow on Instagram for Sync Equestrian and her personal account, Natalia or Natasha. And go get yourself the deal. I know they have a deal for first-time users when you subscribe with your email. Go check them out. And if you haven't shared the Startups with Stu show yet, take a second right now and please go help me out. Share Startups with Stu with friends and family that need this information as they are on their entrepreneurial journey, whether before they've started or they're already in the mix or they've already had success. They need Startups with Stu, and I hope you'll share it with them. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Natalia.
Thank you so much for having me.
One last time as we wrap up this episode of Startups with Stu, I hope that you've taken a second and gone to startupswithstu.com. If you haven't yet, go check out the website, make sure you're subscribed to the email, and make sure that you check out my retreats that are coming up. August 20th through the 22nd, September 8th through the 10th. We would absolutely love to have you guys there. You won't regret this experience. The testimonials are amazing. Go check those out and listen to those. In fact, I'll hit play on those next.
This is the best networking opportunity I've had this year. I would gladly pay whatever the cost it is to come year after year. Just with the people I've met, the motivation that it gives you, the skills that you take away, the connections that you get, you have lifelong friends here. Like the wealth of knowledge that I've been able to gain from very successful people in a wide variety of industries has been fundamental, I think, to my perception of what good business looks like.
I for sure have 2, 3, 4 people that will have a direct impact in my business and in my life right away. We just connected. It probably will leapfrog my business.
I came to Stu's Entrepreneur Retreat because I wanted to build a network that will help my business and help myself to grow. I gained connections that would not just last for a minute or a month, but for a lifetime. I came into this thinking, you know what, I'm not worthy to be here. And I left feeling like I was.
Being around guys that have broken past what they thought their ceiling was, and to be able to think bigger and really just go for it, right? And that for me was really transformational this weekend. To be able to kind of shift a mindset that I've needed to do and kind of clear the fog of where I need to go.
I've enjoyed getting to meet people and been able to elevate my thinking into trying to become a better version of myself. And that's really what this whole thing is about, is trying to get people to grow and become better versions of themselves so that they can help their community, their businesses, and their family.
The various speakers and the attendees have been very impactful in my life. The clarity that we've received up here and the inspiration to be not just a better businessman, but to be a better human being.
Thanks for joining me on Startups with Stu. We have big goals to help millions of entrepreneurs. If you enjoyed this show, please take a minute to share it with someone else that needs to hear it, or leave a review. Remember, success is within reach for those who dare to dream big and take action. Until next time, keep pushing forward on your entrepreneurial journey.